Hello and welcome to this or that. So I had a request for a video for, instead of eating this, what would be a better option? So first of all, I don't like to classify foods as good foods or bad foods. To me, all food is good. I'm happy with food, but I like to classify food more as a, go ahead all the time food, or a sometimes food, or a seldom food. So some of the, for me, my seldom foods would be like mini donuts at the fair. Oh, I love those things. Or, like a pasta or something. I don't typically choose something like that, but it's just something that is really dense in calories. My sometimes foods are like my plain cake donuts, cereal, things that are just more packaged. And my always foods are foods that are usually found in the refrigerator. They're more whole foods. Some of them are obviously in the pantry, such as rice, couscous, lentils, beans, those kind of things. Those are like the always, and they consume the majority of what I eat. But the other day, I had shown a video of the Nature Valley protein bar, which is not a protein bar, it's a fat source. So if you haven't seen that video, you might want to scroll down or go to the video link and try to find that video. But I was asked, well, what would you replace that with? What would be a better option? And so I'm going to just show you a couple options. So this is 190 calories here. Right here, the Fit Crunch bar is also 190 calories, would be a better option to your protein bar. So just to compare, I should have my glasses on. This is silliness here. Okay, so they both have 14 grams of carbohydrates. I apologize, I didn't mean to say fiber. And this has 10 grams of protein, but this one has 16 grams of protein. This is a great, and this is 8 grams of fat, this one's 12 grams of fat. So this is really a great meal replacement type bar because you get everything. You get your protein, you get your carbohydrates, and you get your fats. There's 3 grams of sugar in this one with, 6 grams in this one. So your Fit Crunch is far more superior or better choice than your Nature Valley protein bar. Other options that I like, the Protein One bars. These are really good. 210 calories, but 8 grams of fiber in here. And then 1 gram of sugar. So these are a good option. I tend to just pack these in my purse for dance season because they're easy grab and goes. Some other ones, if you are dairy free, there's No Cow. Those are 210 calories. And again, 1 gram of sugar. You've got 21 grams of protein in this bar, and you have 17 grams of fiber. So your total carbs are 24, but 17 of those are fiber. Great option. And again, your Quest bars. I love donuts, so everything is donut for me. So chocolate donut. These are also 190 calories, same amount as this. It's bigger than this. This has 20 grams of protein. It has 23 grams of carbs, but 14 grams of that is fiber, and 8 grams of fat. So all of these would be a superior choice to this one. And all of these are bigger and will keep you full longer than this. Yes, they are more expensive, but remember that your health is an investment and you do not need to skimp out on that, because if you're not spending the money right now to take care of yourself, you will spend the money in the future in medical bills, and you don't want that. So that's one example. The other example, it's morning and I need my coffee. This is like the best mug ever. My sister-in-law gave this to me for Christmas one year, and it was my favorite mug. The next option is syrup for pancakes or whatever in the morning. First of all, do a real maple syrup. If you do something like a Mrs. Butterworth's or something like that, that is not a great option. I would definitely put that in the seldom list. So get a true maple syrup, a real one. They are sugar, but your Mrs. Butterworth's is going to come from a very unnatural source. So real maple syrup. This kind of goes on my every now and then list for me to have, but I eat oats usually every day, oatmeal in the morning, and I like to sweeten them up, and when I sweeten them up, sometimes I like to use a maple syrup. So instead of using this, because this does have calories in it, so about 4 tablespoons is 220 calories. So if you're in fat loss, I don't want to waste my calories on something like this. Good, it's good, yep, but not. I would rather eat, because 220 calories of this is not going to fill me up. So I replace it with Walden Farms syrup. This is 0-calorie syrup, and it's not bad. I do not like a lot of the Walden Farms products, but this one is not bad. So I just use this one. 0 calories. Yep. Then let's talk like sugar. Sugar is next. So this is regular sugar. This is 1 Starbucks drink, just so you guys can see how much sugar is in 1 Starbucks drink. Like, if I put this in my coffee mug, look at how full that is. That just makes me want to throw up. So if you guys are out drinking your Starbucks, picture that, look at that. That is why their drinks are so addicting, why they're so good, and why they're so high calorie. Make your own at home. Way better. So anyway, you have regular sugar, but what can we do to replace our regular sugar? One great option is monk fruit. This one I got at Costco, but this is a 0-calorie sweetener. You have also Swerve brand. These I just got at the grocery store. There's also a granulated sugar, which I must be out of because I didn't find it in there. The brown sugar one I use all the time, especially in, Asian dishes and stuff like that. Any recipe that calls for brown sugar, like in cooking our meals at night, it's this. Good stuff. Then let's just talk, again, we have like a regular barbecue sauce. I'm not knocking the regular stuff, but look, if you're wanting to cut some calories out, and everybody should probably cut some sugar out, there is sugar-free barbecue sauce. Now this one is really good. This is like winner. So in this one, you have 60 calories in a serving, which is 2 tablespoons, and out of those 16 calories, you have 60 calories. 16 grams are carbohydrates, but out of those 16, 14 grams of added sugar in one serving. That's a lot. That's almost like 4 teaspoons of sugar. Yeah. In only 2 tablespoons. So, look at your labels, okay? This one is 10 calories as opposed to 60 in 2 tablespoons with no sugar. So, it tastes really good. That is a great swap. Another one. Some people like to buy, and I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just going to show you the difference. Prepackaged like rice stuff, which sometimes is okay, but sometimes it's not always the best choice. So again, look at your label, because your rice might be mixed with a whole bunch of other things. Now, I love these packets. I got these at Costco as well. They're just these lentils. I don't eat these very often, but it is good stuff. So anyway, this has, in a serving, well, it doesn't matter about the calories. Right now I'm just focused on what is in the ingredient list. So this one is actually quite clean. This has actually a decent ingredient list in it. But sometimes you see these ingredient lists and you're like, what's that, what's that, what's that? And all you're looking for is like rice or couscous. That's what your label should just say. It shouldn't list a whole bunch of other stuff. So for example, I have, couscous here. And that is what the ingredients are. So same with rice. If you look at a rice, usually you'll see on the rice box it's rice and some sodium in there or something. But check your ingredient list. Sometimes these packaged foods, they provide really good they make it easy, but they're not always the best choice. However, there are packages of rice in the freezer section. It's just rice. I don't know who sells them, like what company has a Bird's Eye or somebody has. They're just little frozen bags of rice. It's already cooked, so all you have to do is heat it up. So if you need convenience, go for something like that because the ingredient list is more clean. All right, let's talk salad dressings. So salads are a great option to have. It's a lot of whole foods. You can get in a lot of veggies. You can top it with your protein. Salads are really good, but this is where it gets you. It gets you in the dressing. Dressing adds up really fast, and a lot of us love to have like a creamy ranch dressing or something. So ranch. This is 130 calories in 2 tablespoons. Well, I'm going to be willing to bet you use more than 2 tablespoons on a salad. So measure it out sometime and take a look. But another option is make your own dressing. You can use things like balsamic. You can use oil, like 130 calories of oil. You could use about 130 calories of ranch. You could use 3 teaspoons of olive oil in place of that, and you don't even need that. You could go to 1 teaspoon of olive oil, mix it up with some lemon juice, some Dijon mustard. You've got soy sauce or tamari sauce that you could use. You've got, or coconut amuse, or you could use obviously your seasonings. I always love the everything but bagel seasoning on it. You could use, I don't know if I said lemon juice, balsamics, different flavored balsamics, but play around with it, mix it up. You could have a salad dressing that tastes really good with far less calories. But you want quick and easy? All right. I've got like these yogurt dressings. So in 2 tablespoons, this has 40 calories as opposed to 130. So when you're looking at the calorie content, this one's going to be a better option if you're working on something to achieve fat loss goals. And that's another thing too, you know, when you're trying to lose fat, you just have to deal with the fact that you're gonna have to give some things up. And if you're not gonna give them up, which I shouldn't say give them up, because I don't feel like you should ever have to give something up forever, but you do have to make that choice to either temporarily step away from it while you're in fat loss, but you also can't just go back to it how you have currently been doing it. You have to figure out how to work that in, you know, either on that every now and then or seldom basis. But to make change, you have to make choices that align with the changes you need to make or want to make. So the hardest thing that you're going to say in fat loss is, no thank you, I'm not going to have any of that. It's not easy. Kids are making cookies, they're making bread, whatever. No thank you, I'll pass. It's not easy, but when your goals start to unfold and your fat loss starts to unfold, those choices definitely become worth it, because had you had the cookie or had the bread or the muffins or whatever, that's so temporary. It's fleeting. Like, you enjoy it in that moment, and then you probably feel like shit afterwards, actually. And then, you know, you go on about your day, you've totally forgotten about it. But had you just stuck to the no thank you, your goals keep rolling forward and you stay on track for making these changes. So one more thing I wanted to touch on, and this was the oil. So oil is not a bad thing, but it does have calories in it. So this is 45 calories per teaspoon in oil. So, you know, you drizzle it all over some vegetables. Well, you're probably using over a tablespoon of it. You throw it in a pan to be cooking with. You're probably using more than a tablespoon of it. And remember, 1 teaspoon is 45 calories, so a tablespoon is 135 calories. And if you want to cut those calories out, an easy way is to use broth instead. So a lot of times if I'm going to saute vegetables up on the stove, I will just put a little bit of broth in the pan, and it works. Oil is going to work better, but this works towards my goals and it still does the job. So a lot of times in a recipe where it calls for oil, I swap it out for broth. So again, like, let's just take an Asian meal where I have to maybe fry something up, which I'll probably use the air fryer instead of on the stovetop. But instead of oil, I'm using that. Instead of my brown sugar, I'm using Swerve brown sugar, and I've just eliminated a whole bunch of calories right there in the meal. So hopefully this has all been helpful. If you have any questions, drop them below.